Well, hello. I am super excited to be here with the Power Chat with my guest, Tiffany. I'm Dr. Angela Harden Mack, wellness expert and the host for the Power Chat. And I'm so excited to welcome my guest, Tiffany Easley. Yay! We are super excited to talk to you today about this book, Who Moved My Cheese? And it's all about managing change. This is the opportunity for us to really embrace change and talk about what it means and why it is so important. And I tell you, I may say it a couple more times. I'm super excited that Tiffany is here with me. I'm Dr. Angela Harden Mack, a women's wellness expert, and I am the founder and CEO of Live Great Lives, Women's Empowerment Coaching, home of the Live Great Lives Academy and the mastermind and the membership community. I'm an author, I am an international speaker, and I just love empowering people. And now I want my beautiful guest, Tiffany, to tell us about SOAR and tell us about all the great and exciting things she's doing.
Well, before I do that, Dr. Angela, thank you for having me and thank you for challenging me to read this amazing book again. When you asked me to do this with you, I was so excited because it's one of my favorite books. I love this book, and I know that everybody's going to be blessed by this power chat. But I am Tiffany R. Easley, the SOAR strategist. And yes, I said the SOAR strategist because I am the only SOAR strategist, okay? That's me. And I teach others how to soar beyond the trauma of a diagnosis. But in 2023, I am going to make my platform even larger. And I'm going to teach you how to build your life in such a way that you have all that you've desired to have in the now. Because it's not just about getting over something that happened to you. It's about living the life of your dreams. And that's what SOAR is all about. I am an international best-selling author, speaker, coach. And you know what else I do? I have a corporate job that I love. I'm in training and development, and I absolutely love it because I teach people how to win. And that is work hard, inspire others, and never give up. So that's what I do. And I am so excited about this power chat. And I'm so excited about how it's going to change the way you view change in your life.
Woohoo! Well, Tiffany, you are doing the thing. I mean, you talked about speaking and coaching. You talked about SOAR. You said you are not that there are others, but you are the SOAR strategist and your corporate job that you love. And we've had the opportunity to talk about our jobs and our careers. So we are right there on the same wavelength. Very exciting things happening for you and your community in 2023. And you talked about, wow, just some amazing things helping people to embrace living, I think, on another level. So that is so exciting. And thank you for accepting the invitation to talk about this book. So, Who Moved My Cheese? Yes. So let's talk about change. I put on the screen here, managing change, because that's what it's all about. We hear the word change a lot. We say it all the time. I'm going to change my shoes, right? I'm going to change the channel. I'm going to change this. If we have babies, we're going to change the baby's diaper. Change is huge. I mean, this is a really important topic. And as I mentioned and typed into some goodies that we'll make available to our communities, managing change is an important life skill. When we do it and we feel comfortable with it, we are able to progress and move forward. When we don't know how to manage it well, it's not about being perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. It's about being flexible. When we don't manage it well, people can get stuck and life can it can be dissatisfying. What do you think about this whole change and managing change, Tiffany?
I think that it's so important that we learn to accept it. Because one thing that this book really reminded me is if we are living, we are changing. And if we don't deal with change, then one or two things are going to happen. One, we're going to become extinct and our purpose will die, right? And that's like this book really just gave me a really fresh breath of air to all that I do and to expect change to happen.
Yes.
Because if you don't expect change, then you don't expect growth, right? If you don't expect growth, then you expect to be stagnant, and anything that's stagnant, it dies.
Yes.
So, like, this is so good and so juicy, and I know, we gonna get into it, but I'm telling you, like, people need to understand that change is not a bad thing. And I don't know where in the world we came into this thought process that change is bad, because somewhere in the world something happened, and
Mhm.
the word change took on this negative connotation that,
Mhm.
oh my God, change is bad. But
Mhm.
it's not. It's so powerful and it's
Mhm.
so needed. I know you and I both have communities that we serve. And if
Mhm.
we don't change, if
Yep.
we stay the same, our
Mhm.
people will never get what they need from us, because we will be stagnant and stale.
Mhm.
We will
Mhm.
not be able to give them life.
Mhm.
Your tagline is live great lives. Well, you can't live great lives if you're not embracing change, right? So I think
Right.
it's
Right.
important that we understand,
Mhm.
if you don't change, you will become extinct, right?
Mhm.
We don't want
Mhm.
that. We don't want to be the people or the gifts to become extinct. We want to live, we want to thrive, we want to be all that we can be. And in order to do that, we're gonna
Mhm.
have to move some cheese, and we're
Mhm.
gonna have to change.
Gotta move some cheese. We're gonna have to change because we don't want to become stale. We don't want to become stagnant. And like you started this segment saying, somewhere along the way, the concept of change became negative, and it isn't. Now we have change that is good change. We have change that's not so good. So it really is important for us to embrace, especially when it's not that great. We have change that's planned, right? We say, okay, I'm going to move, I'm going to start a new job, I'll do X, Y, and Z. So we set our goals, we create our plan, and we map it out. But not all change is planned. Not all change is initiated by us. It's easy when we sit down and say, this is my goal, this is my intention, and we do it and we plan it out. But when change is initiated by someone else or an organization, when change is imposed on us, then that's when it can become dicey. Sometimes people say tricky, sometimes people say hard. And we really want to be able to embrace this concept of change, and we want to be able to move through it. What do you think are some of the emotions people have, Tiffany, when they have to change because someone else said you have to change? Let's talk about on our jobs. Both of us work in, healthcare, and change happens.
I'm gonna start with the elephant in the room, right?
Mhm,
Because
mhm,
on our jobs, we
mhm,
already know.
mhm,
We kind of sense that something's happening. We
mhm,
kind of sense the change, but immediately when we really see it happening,
mhm,
or we have that, the email that comes out, or the huddle that they call,
mhm,
and
mhm,
the announcement is about to drop, all the things. Immediately there's this one emotion that happens every time,
mhm,
and it's fear. It's
mhm,
fear of the unknown. Is this
mhm,
positive? Is it negative? How is it
mhm,
going to impact me? Will I lose my job? Will I lose the money that I've established in this beat? Like, it's immediate fear.
mhm,
It's
mhm,
immediate fear of the unknown. And I think that is what drives that
mhm,
negative connotation of change, because
mhm.
it's the unknown that we can't control.
That's so good. The unknown, you're right, and fear, false evidence appearing real. And because we can't control it, so much of what we, I think, are fearful of in life, when we can't control it. So it's that catch 22. We are growing, we are maturing, and that's what we want our children to do, children or young
Mhm.
people to do, grow and mature to become independent. And yet we know that much in life is not under our direct control. We have to be willing, and we have to be available to change and follow the direction of others, but it's not easy. So we mentioned, and I like the way you said it, fear. Fear is one of the major negative things, negative emotions that can come about with that. What about anger? You think
Oh,
anger?
absolutely.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
that's a good one. And you know what? And I think they tie together, right?
Yep,
Because out of fear, you become angry,
yep.
because that's your response to the fear, right?
Mm-hmm,
Because you don't know what's going to happen.
mm-hmm,
I've had situations. We both have, professional corporate jobs. And I've had situations where the change happens and I'm fearful, and out of the fear I become angry. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing that. That's not, nope. No, like, no, I'm not doing that. But this book that we're gonna, digest and share really helped me to still stand my ground, but understand how to move with the change, right? How to move through the thing and really say, you don't have to lose the essence of who you are in the change, but you still got to change a little something. You can't just, don't be so rigid that you cannot have the flow of the change help you to grow, right?
Right, exactly. So I want to, and we just about at that point to dive into the book. I want to do a couple recaps. So change is the act or making of becoming different, and there are actually 3 stages to the change process: where it is or what it is today. That's the now, the transition on the way to what it will become, or the change in the future. So the now, which is the present, then the transition, that in between, sometimes people call it the messy middle, and then you have the future state. So those 3 stages of change. I want to review, we mentioned that fear is a very common reaction when it relates to change because of the unknown, and because we know, or an individual may know, that they don't have complete control over what's happening. And also anger can be a common emotion. I want to bring out, we mentioned that fear can be good or not so good. Change can be good or not so good. Change can be planned or unplanned. Change can be initiated by us, and it may be internally motivated. I want to, be more active. I want to go for a new job. I want to move. Those are things that are motivated internally and initiated by someone. But change can also be externally motivated, and it could be something that someone else tells you you have to do. That still can be a positive change, but it is important for us to know whether it's something we are initiated and whether we are motivated to do it internally, or whether someone else says this is the direction we're going in, and then we have to be prepared to change. I want to mention too is that we have people who could be early adopters. We have people who can be in that middle where they aren't like the first ones out of the gate. They want to see how everyone else is responding, and then when they see it's like, okay, nothing major has happened is really bad, then they'll dive in. But then you have people who are the late adopters. They're like, I'm still not convinced. I need to see a little bit more. Then you have people who flat out reject it. They're like, no, I'm not changing. I'm not. And so these are some of the things we see in the book. You gotta get the book. So you may be an early adopter. As soon as the information comes about that it's time to change, you may be one of the first ones to jump on board. You could be middle, you could be at the end, or you could be someone like, nope, no way, Jose, I am not changing. I'm like rejecting it. So Tiffany, in terms of your experience seeing people with change, have you seen more people who are early adopters, middle adopters, late adopters, or those who say, nope, I'm not changing? They reject it.
You know what? I very seldom see early adopters. They're usually in that middle or that total rejection of change, right? And I think it goes back to the whole fear thing, because we don't know. We don't know how it's going to work.
So that will be interesting as our viewers are checking this out. And I forgot to mention in the beginning, I was so excited. You have to enable StreamYard so you can come on in and type your comments in there. That's what happens. You get excited, like, yay, we're ready to talk about the book. But think about where you are in life. Think about when you are presented with a change. Are you one of the first ones to go, hey, you know what? Yep, I see it. It doesn't mean that it will always be easy. You just realize that this is going to happen, and you are on board to change. Or are you one, you're kind of like in the corner going, well, let me see how they respond? Or are you like, nope, I don't think this is going to work? Or just like, no, I quit. And sometimes when we talk about jobs, that can be a real easy example where people say, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to make this change. I don't think it'll work. And I said, well, just give me my pay, or transfer me to another division, or what have you. Sometimes relationships, sometimes some other things where people just say, nope, I'm not changing. So learning about change is very, very important. How to change. And in the book, what one of the things that's mentioned is how to change with grace. And that's another resource. It's not just that we have to go through life barely making it, but we can embrace change and we can do it with grace. And so the book written by Dr. Spencer Johnson, ready, Tiffany? We can go ahead and dive in. Who Moved My Cheese? And the subtitle is An Amazing Way to Deal with Change in Your Work and in Your Life. Who Moved My Cheese? Now, Tiffany, the thing that really got me thinking about this book this year, this was earlier in the year, probably around March or April. I was speaking to someone at my job, and it was about change. And I said, someone didn't recognize that the cheese moved. And the person looked at me and said, what? And I was like, oh, have you ever read the book, Who Moved My Cheese? And she said, no. I was like, oh, you got to read the book, because when change happens, you're either going to stay in there and go, okay, well, where's the cheese? Where's the cheese? Or you're going to like, the cheese is moved. I'm going. My cheese moved. I'm going. So I was like, that person needs to know that the cheese has moved, and it's important to move with the cheese. So, Tiffany, when you read the book the very first time, tell us. What did you think? Did you laugh? Did did it make you just get quiet and reflect? What was your initial response?
So when I first read the book, I was actually doing a project and I had to read the book.
Okay.
So I wasn't excited about reading the book. Okay. And then they were talking about cheese, and I was like, what does this have to do with business development, all the things? So I literally went in with a bad attitude about the cheese. I was like, this makes no sense. But not even halfway through the book, it really helped me to shift my mindset, because I had looked at change in such a bad way. I had literally looked at change from a stance of, oh my God, if I change, I'm going to lose everything. Oh my God, if I change, I'm going to lose me, right? Because if you have been accustomed to doing something the same way for a very long time, and then change happens and you can no longer do that, in your mind, you are struggling. So my mindset had to change. And so that was the biggest aha for me. So this book literally had become it's kind of like a guide for me when I feel the change coming, to really go back to the book and say, okay, who you going to be this time? Where you going to be this time? You're going to be screaming, talking about where my cheese at. You're going to go look for it. What you going to do this time? Be prepared or wait. What are you going to do this time? So this book is really an accountability piece for me, because as we shared a moment ago, change is going to happen.
Yes.
If you're still, as my grandma says, if you still on this side of the earth, change is going to happen. You cannot get away from it. So you're going to be screaming, my cheese, where's my cheese? Or are you going to go look for it? Because the thing is, our mind, I can't remember what school it was, but there was a school that said a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Change is a terrible thing not to embrace. It's a terrible thing not to embrace. So, when I first read the book, I was not willing to embrace it, but not even halfway through, I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to do this thing called change, because that's life. So that's what I've done.
Okay, cool. Yes. So I think I read it when the book was first released, and it said copyright. The first copyright was 1998. So, and it says here over 28 million copies sold worldwide. So if you haven't read the book, that lets you know that this is important. 1998, over 28 million. That's major. And many of these copies were, I imagine, and I think we read somewhere, purchased by organizations and given to departments and things, because it is so cool. The back of it says that this is a book. It's a metaphor. It's a parable. And there are a number of stories, metaphors, parables out that teach us an important principle using a story. And so this one is pretty cool, because they use the cheese, and I'm reading right here. In the back of it, cheese is a metaphor for what you want to have in life, whether it's a good job, a loving relationship, money, etc. The maze is where you look for what you want. And the story has 4 characters, 2 mice and 2 people. 2 mice and 2 people. You got to get the book. I tell you, it is so
Good.
so good. So Tiffany, let's turn to the page where it has the handwriting on the wall. Now we aren't going to give it all away, right? We
Right,
want you to get
right.
inspired. We want you to get it. The book is an easy read. Literally, I'm gonna show you. It's like
Yeah,
nice big print. About 100 some odd, not even 100 pages, 90 pages. I would say if you grab your coffee, your tea, your cocoa, cappuccino, whatever you like to drink, and curl up in your easy chair, lazy boy chair, and like literally you, if you are someone that you don't need to take a lot of notes while you're reading the very first time, you will probably get through it in maybe an hour or two. It's really good. So you probably will pause and reflect when you get to a couple of places, but it really is something that you can read within a couple of hours. So Tiffany, read the first three for me on that page where it says the handwriting on the wall.
Okay, so the first one says change happens. They keep moving the cheese. The
Mm-hmm.
second one says anticipate change, get ready for the cheese to move. And then the third one says monitor change, smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old.
Mm-hmm. 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 That part, right? That part.
Exactly, that part.
That right. That was when I paused and right. Okay, okay. When you read this, and what it's saying is we have to be aware, we have to be alert. What we probably said, I think, Tiffany, when we were younger, is don't sleep on stuff.
Yeah.
Be alert. I think now we say, people say be woke, young
Hmm.
people, but it was about stay alert. Don't just forget about stuff. Don't put it in the background and overlook it. You need to constantly monitor what's going on. Monitor your work environment, monitor your relationships, monitor your health, because like it says here, you got to smell is another example of be alert, be vigilant, pay attention to what's going on, because if you're paying attention and you're checked in, tapped in on it, when you see those subtle shifts and changes, you can act then, not when the cheese is gone. And that's what happened in the story. You got to read the story. Some of them, they were just kind of milling around, not paying attention. And then when the cheese was gone, they were like, all right, right, who moved my cheese? Where's my cheese? Where did it go? So number 4 here says adapt to change quickly. The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you can enjoy new cheese. The next one says change, move with the cheese. Did you hear what I said? Move with the cheese. And then the next one says enjoy change, exclamation point. Savor the adventure and enjoy the taste of new cheese, exclamation point. And the final one says be ready to change quickly and enjoy it again and again. They keep moving the cheese. Did you hear did you hear what we've been saying? This is the book. We are making this up. This is what Dr. Spencer said. This is the story. And Tiffany said, read number 3 one more time.
Number 3. Oh, yeah, because number 3 was one of those. I was like, that part. That's all I could say was that part. So number 3 was monitor the cheese, smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old.
Mm-hmm. That one right there is when people begin to miss out. And then the next one, adapt to change quickly, when people get stuck.
Yes, that is so true. That is
Mm-hmm.
so true. That is a very
Mm-hmm.
good point, Dr. Angela. That
Mm-hmm.
is so true.
Get stuck. We are humans, and our experience on earth, again, it's not always roses or we're, skipping through the fields and meadows. We're going to have some difficulties, challenges, attacks. We're going to have some trials and tribulations. It's not that we won't, it's how do we respond? How do we respond when we're faced with the uncertain, when we're faced with the dangers, when we're faced with the fears? Do we just go, oh my goodness? Do we whine a lot? Do we complain a lot? Do we fall into that pity party and stay there? Or do we go, you know what? This is happening. Yep. You know what? Life gave me lemons, but I'm going to make lemonade. Or I'm in the storm, but I'm going to dance through it. How do we get up? How do we brush our knees off and go, okay, this is happening, but I'm not going through it. I'm growing through it, and I'm going to come out on the other side. And here, when it says to adapt quickly, the quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you can enjoy new cheese. This is important for us to know. Again, don't get stuck. Do not get stuck in that place. It won't last forever. It won't last whatever that time period is. When you can read these principles and put them into place, when you notice your cheese is moving, then you will go and you will find your cheese. So let's take a couple more minutes, Tiffany. Let's your page numbers may be a little different because I think you have the hardback.
Mhm.
Let me see. Can you get to the one, the cheese, where it says imagine yourself? It's page 58 in my book.
Okay.
So the cheese is going to move everybody. So the maze in the story represents life, and the cheese represents our good things. And it's the story of when things start to change, are you just standing there going, where's my cheese? Where's my cheese? Where's my cheese? What happened to my cheese? Why is it not there? Why I won't do anything? Or are you going to move and search out new cheese? Well, yeah, but is it on page 58 for you, Tiffany?
It
Imagine
is.
yourself. Okay. Will you read that for us?
It says, imagining yourself enjoying your new cheese leads you to it.
Read that
That
one more
was good.
time.
That
Mm-hmm.
was good. Imagining yourself enjoying your new cheese leads you to it.
You
I
say
wrote
that.
in my book,
Mm-hmm.
when I read that, I wrote, see it before you see it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because
That's good.
sometimes you gotta see it. You gotta see the new cheese
Yes.
before you see it, right? You gotta I Dr. Angel, I used to be a cheese connoisseur, like
Mm-hmm.
literally. Like I used to love cheese, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would
Mm-hmm.
go to the cheese case,
Mm-hmm.
but I was stuck on the basic cheese, like American cheese,
Mm-hmm.
yellow American, white American.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't fiddle with blue cheese too much, but
Okay.
then I started, you know, thinking, well, they had these other kind of cheese. I was like, I wonder what that tastes like.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would start to literally smell cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I would smell it. I would look at the texture of it. I would literally begin
Mm-hmm.
to experience the cheese, not just
Mm-hmm.
consume it. When
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, when I got to 58 and it said, imagining yourself enjoying your new cheese leads you to it, because
Mm-hmm.
I got to see it
Mm-hmm.
before I see it.
Yes.
That yeah,
Exactly.
they don't understand. They got to get the book. They got to get the
You
book.
got to get the book. You got to get the book. And you just dropped that. That was faith. Faith, whether we are approaching them from the spiritual aspect or whether we're approaching them from the more scientific manifestation. Is like we see it, we imagine it. And the first part of that said, imagine. We have an image of it before we see it in a physical realm. It's up here. So when your cheese is moving, because it could be progressive, or if it moved completely, you have to see it, and that helps you to get going. It helps you to get going. I want us to wrap up with this last one, Tiffany. This is on page 64, and it says, old beliefs do not lead you to new cheese. That's another one, just like, boom. It's just like, not only do you drop the mic, you just got to turn your head to the side,
Right, just
like, boom. Old beliefs do not lead you to new cheese. Now, earlier you mentioned mindset, and I put that up there. Also, mindset shift. Let me put this back here. Mindset shift. And for every student of personal development and growth, you know what it's always said. What is always said. It starts with mindset. We have to release old program, and we have to release limiting and false beliefs, and those beliefs that are disempowering. We need to make those mindset shifts so that we get to new beliefs that help us. And in the book, it says, old beliefs do not lead you to new cheese. We don't steal. For those of you who know, I'm going to put both hands up. For those of you who know about 8-track players, I'm telling you what I listened to when I was coming up. The 8-track player was the bomb diggity. That's another thing. I'm telling you, the era I grew up in, we don't still have 8-track players where we play. We don't have cassette players that we use regularly. We have CDs, and we have MP3s, and we have iPods, and we have downloads. We don't have the same technology that we're using regularly to play our music that we used back in the day with 8-track. And if we hold on to old beliefs, it's like we're trying to take a DVD and put it in an 8-track player. We have to have new beliefs. And when it relates to our cheese, it says old beliefs do not lead you to new cheese. We have to have the mindset shift, because the old beliefs won't serve us in that new place. Now, these are just some of the gems in the book. This is so good. Again, Who Moved My Cheese? And then it is an amazing way to deal with change in your work and in your life. The principles that are in here will help you manage change in your life and in your work life. And we read, it says the handwriting on the wall. We went through all of these and read those. So you want to definitely get the book. We encourage you to get the book. Tiffany, give us 2 sentences or so, a closing thought, and then tell us where they can get in touch with you. And then if you have something that you want to make available to them. So give us those final 2 or 3 sentences about what we covered today.
I'm just gonna sum it up here because y'all gotta get the book. Y'all gotta get the book. Like, you gotta get the book. But I'm gonna sum it up with saying it this way. You have to embrace moving the cheese to soar.
Ooh,
You got
say that one more time. Say that one more time.
You have to embrace moving the cheese in order to soar. You have to embrace moving the cheese in order to soar. So when you get the book, you think about me and Dr. Angela, and then you're gonna understand what I said, because we just gave y'all a tip. We ain't even like went in on the book.
Yes.
That was just the tip. You have to embrace moving the cheese to soar. So you will be able to see all of my contact information. But if you go to tiffanyreasley.com/declarations, you can get 7 days of declarations to help you shift your mindset.
Okay.
It'll help you change your mindset, because we talked about that too, right? We talked about, you got to think differently about this change. We talked about how the fear and the anger may make you opposed to change. We talked about all of that stuff. So you have no excuse to leave this experience and not go get the book.
Yes.
And not use your resources.
Yes. So you heard it from Tiffany R. Easley, Soar Strategist. You heard it. And she told you that managing change is important so that you can soar. Yes. Thank you, Tiffany. This book was a game changer for me. I read it back in 1998 or maybe 1999 when it first came out. So I tell you, I have been keeping being alert about my cheese. And when my cheese moves, I move with it. Now, sometimes it's been hard. Sometimes it's been easy. Sometimes I was like, "Rrr." But the point is, in order to live my great life, I have moved when my cheese moved. And what we read today about adapting, again, that was so important. Adapt to change quickly. The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you can enjoy new cheese. It's important for all of us to know that you are created for greatness and to live a great life. And this great life is an adventure. It is one where we are constantly changing and evolving. And so adapting, changing quickly, this is important. And the sooner you can identify and recognize change and change with it, the more it says you can enjoy your new cheese. You were created for greatness, to do great works, and to live your great life. So get this change management. Know that change is a 3-part process so that you can change. So you won't be like the 2 characters in the book going, "Where's my cheese? Where's my cheese? Oh my goodness, where's my cheese? What am I gonna do?" They were like, "What am I gonna do? Where am I gonna go?" You want to be like the other 2, like the cheese move. Okay, I'm going. Okay, I'm going. And it's not that you will always find your new cheese right then and there. Everything will make sense when you get the book. Trust me. You'll go, "Oh, that's what they were talking about."
Yes.
You don't want to be like, "Where's my cheese? Where's my cheese?" You want to move with it. So reach out to me again. You can send me an email at info@AngelaHMSpeaks. My website is livegreatlives.com. I have some study notes, so to speak, available based on what we talked about tonight. So if you are interested in getting that, it's just a 2-page, just a few notes capturing what we talked about tonight. Reach out to me. The team will get that information at info@AngelaHMSpeaks.com, so you can look at it and go, "Oh yeah, they talked about this tonight. This is some really important information." And you can have that and put that into your notebook, put that into your personal development binder, your briefcase, the resources you have to grow, to live a great life, to soar. Tiffany, did you have a good time?
This was so good. I mean, I know this is not perfect English, but it just gets gooder and gooder and gooder every time I read this book. Like, This book is small in page number, but
Yeah.
it's so impactful and
Yes.
so powerful that you will get something new every time you pick it up. Every time.
So we want to hear from you again when you get this book, if you've read it. So as we wrap up, if you've read the book, even if it's been 10 years or when it first came out, reach out to us. This is my information, info@angelahmspeaks.com. Let me put Tiffany's up again, her email. Reach out to us. We'd like to know if you read the book, number one. If you haven't read the book, and perhaps this is the first time you've heard about this, Who Moved My Cheese, we encourage you, grab the book, especially if your cheese is moving. Trust us, you want to get this book. If your cheese has moved and you're going, where's my cheese? Get the book and reach out to us, because if your cheese has moved, it talks about support. And if you need someone to help you understand what's happening and what's happening in your maze and why the cheese is moved and you haven't moved, we are excited and available and ready to help you so you can know and recognize your cheese moved and you can get going and get to that next. I'm gonna tell about the cheese station, Tiffany. You can get to your next cheese station where your cheese is, where the new cheese is. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate that you have joined in and that you watched the broadcast. Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. This was the book and inspiration for our power chat, because we are about empowering people. And this is one of the resources we have available to you. We're serving, we're giving. And this resource, this broadcast is about managing change. And there's so much more to it. We just had about 35 minutes to share with you at this time. So you have our contact information. Let me put Tiffany's telephone number up here. Again, that's her telephone number. First one was her email. This is her telephone number. And then this is my information here. And we look forward to hearing about your cheese and how you're making out, watching your cheese. Remember, you have to smell it often so you know when to move. And if you're moving, getting to your next cheese station, we celebrate you, we applaud you, and we are here cheering you on. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Power Chat hosted by Dr. Angela Hardin Mack, the founder of Live Great Lives, the Academy, the membership, and the mastermind. We look forward to seeing you soon. Take care and peace.